This is an Ellis Mowers and Mower small engine repair. Stay connected on Instagram and Facebook at Ellis Mowers and More. Comments or questions? Leave them below or email me, ellis@ellismowers.com. Parts used in today's repair are found using the links in the description below. And as always, like and subscribe for more small engine content. On today's small engine repair, we are going to continue with this thorn in my side. It is a Husqvarna YTH24V48 lawn tractor. What it has done is, originally, y'all saw in part one, it came in, I didn't even film it to start off with, for a fuel delivery issue. Now, that is the least of its problems. When I found the fuel delivery issue from the blocked fuel line between the tank and the fuel filter, just because it had swollen shut over the course of time, I got all that fixed and found that it was revving its head off. Ended up having a bad governor, a broken governor. In part one, we saw that. I fished all the bad governor parts out, pulled the engine out, pulled the sump out, pulled all that out, put the new governor in. Great. As soon as I did that, I found that there was a bad transmission idler pulley. Well, the bolt was seized on, the nut was. I don't know if it was cross-threaded at some point or something. And so I had to take the middle portion of this and get the bolt out, because the carriage bolt, the square head of it, is underneath the frame. There is no clearance in between it. Got a new pulley on it. Got a new bolt on it. Got all that fixed. Got it out. Cranked it, ran good until I put the blades on, and then it's choking itself out. So I'm thinking that there's a diaphragm or something in the back of this carburetor that's gone bad, because the choke butterfly is open, and it's just throwing way too much fuel. I've tried multiple fuel pumps and doing the exact same thing. So I'm guessing that it is the carburetor that is having the issues now. So, given all of that, we're going to pull the carb off, see what we've got to do here, and hopefully I've got one here, carburetor-wise, that works. I'll inspect this one before we call it bad, just to make sure there's not like a piece of trash or something that's caught up in it from, probably the fuel lines degrading and stuff. So just want to make sure of that before we do anything with it. But I think we're going to do some carb work to this. So I left my garage in shambles last night, because it was about 6 o'clock whenever I finished that previous video, and I said, I'm done. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to take the hood off, get some stuff out of the way so that we can pull this carb off, see what's going on inside, because it was surging also, and see if I can find one back here that is going to be a good one that we can use in order to make this work again. So if you were with me in part one, y'all actually saw that this is not the original engine that came on this machine. This is a takeoff from an older model. So I don't know the history of this mower. All I know is they came in for a fuel delivery issue, and now it's having issues beyond that, much beyond that. Now it's getting too much fuel, so it's like it's either feast or famine here, right? In order to take all this stuff off, you've got to get a 5/16 to take these 4 bolts off right here, these 4 screws, and trying to find all my tools from yesterday because I left them scattered about, which I usually don't do. Let's see. Alright, 5/16 on the top here. Can I just pull this up? Yes, I can. That's good. Alright, that. And then there's no screws down there like there usually is. So we've got a couple of 3/8 here. this. The way the fuel pump's connected on this, I do not have to take the fuel pump off, which is good. We'll get a ratchet, 1/4 inch ratchet here with the 3/8 on it. Oh, I'm so ready to be done with this mower. Kind of prolonged this project a little bit because it was so cold last week, at least in this area, that, and I had a lot of stuff going on, so I didn't really get out here at all much last week. But let's see, we'll pull this off, and so that exposes what we need to expose here. We have your fuel line and all that stuff right here. This is that choke arm was actually stuck there. So you remember that spring that we had on here? That was why it wasn't going anywhere, because it was stuck on the ignition coil, believe it or not. So how about that? So is it possible that that was what was the issue? I don't know. I wonder if I can find that spring that I had last night that I pulled off. But it was all the way back, so it makes me think that there was something else beyond what we were doing here. That's the issue. Because like I said, that was back behind the ignition coil like this, so, and it's opening and closing like it's supposed to. So I don't think that had any effect on what we were doing there. But in order to get this off, it is a little bit more involved than a single cylinder Briggs & Stratton, but it's not too bad. I'll go ahead and close this fuel line off. We'll take the line off here. We do have some linkages that we have to worry about. More importantly, the auto choke linkage here. I gotta take, of course, the throttle linkage off yet again. Of course, I could take the carb off this way, which is a little bit of a pain, so I'm not going to do that. A lot of times I just take the intake here off. You have to take the bracket down here loose first. And let's see, we have to pull the choke lever right there. There we go. So we got that pulled off. I don't think we have to do anything else with that. That just gives me more room to get things off here. I'm going to pull the plug for that, and then we'll go, and I think we can get 3 out of the 4 bolts for the intake here. I'm probably going to have to get a new battery for this tool here. Yeah, we're getting a little bit little low. So there we go. The third one's down here. Gotta grab an extension for that one. Hopefully we got enough juice here to get it off. Nope. And then the fourth one is up here. You just have to use like a 3/8 wrench or something in order to get that one off. Let's see if we can get up under here and at least break this one loose so that I can impact it the rest of the way off. There we go. Alright. And the last one I'll take care of off camera here real quick. It'll take me a second. But then once I get this one off, we'll be ready to pull this carb setup off of here and hopefully put a different one on. So I got that bolt off and the linkage for the auto choke flap and the linkage for this, and it's out, so that's good. So let's see. So technically it has enough to go back on its own without needing this side, because I think that's the, yeah, it is, but I think there's something going on internally with this carb. So let me see what I can find, what we can do to find another one to get this thing up and going. Well guys, I'm just going to call this mower the gift that keeps on giving, it seems. This thing, well, let me just crank it back up for you so you can hear it. Or can I? Let's see. Well, I think the battery's dead on it now. Y'all hear that? The governor broke in it again. So there's something going on inside of this engine that's causing these issues with the governor. I called the guy, I said, look, I'm not interested in going back into this thing to throw another governor in it just for it to have another issue. Because y'all know these newer Intech V-twins are not the best in terms of reliability. So what we've agreed and what I'm going to do here for them is I am going to go into my field of mowers back here, and I have multiple options here. I don't know if I want to use that one or what I'm probably going to do is use this Poland Pro mower here, and I am going to pull the engine off of this, because what I can do, this is a 42-inch mower, I can just throw a Briggs, a single in it, and be good. Not really have any issues with it. So that's what I'm going to do. I've already kind of done a little bit of parting out with this thing as it is. But yeah, it's like I said, I can throw a single still on a Briggs in this thing. As far as I know, we got a massive mouse nest in it though, so we'll have to take the shroud off. It is turning, so that's good. Let's see, I think the shroud, will the shroud come off currently? I think it'll come off everywhere except for the bottom down here. probably have to change the exhaust out, but it shouldn't be too bad. I do have a Craftsman over there, but I don't know the situation behind it. I feel like this one's going to run though, so what I'm going to do, I've got enough cord. I might get a cord out here with a shop vac and just vacuum that out. And then what we got a bolt keeping this in right here. Not that I see, except for the other side here. So I'm going to pull that bolt off. We'll get all the shrouds and stuff off. So it looks like, I mean, it's a decent amount of oil right here at this, which is pretty typical. I may just see if it fires over first. I do know the Craftsman over here will crank over. And will run on starting fluid. So, like I said, I'm trying to figure out which one I want to use here, because I really want to get this done today and not really have to worry about it too much. So yeah, I've heard this one run on starting fluid. It looks like it has fewer leaks than that Poland one. So I might just pull this one. This one's a rear mounted tank too. Oh man. Decisions. Choke cable's free on this. This mower's set for a really, really long time too. Neither of these have voltage regulators set up, so I will have to take all of the flywheel and all that stuff off of the other one in order to make this work. Or I could try another governor in that one. I really don't want to pop it open anymore though. Let me do a little bit more brainstorming. Let me see what else I've got around here in the yard, and we'll see which one I put on it. Alright guys, I'm making progress on this. I apologize, I have not really filmed much. Probably not going to see me film too much of this engine swap, because this mower, that mower is just, it's one of the worst, worst mowers I've had in a while when it comes to fixing them. So I actually got this one running. Got it running on starting fluid. It sounds good. Both cylinders were firing, so that's good. Still dirty. I will have to wash it up a little bit. So what I'm going to do next is, I've got the flywheel off already, which is just, flywheel nut. Pop it with a pry bar and then smack it on the top with a hammer, and that usually will allow it to come off. So I got that. I had to swap the stator out because this one didn't have a voltage regulator. So I put a voltage regulator on, put the correct stator on, and that's what I'm in the process of doing right now, is putting all that back on. I do have to bend this tin back up a little bit, it looks like. Looks like it was heavily compromised at one point, but we'll get that here in a second. That's crazy. Oh, it's underneath the valve cover. Great. So somehow it got underneath the valve cover. Oh, somebody was trying really hard to do something here, but didn't really succeed very well, unfortunately. So I gotta get that sorted out. Gotta find 2 valve cover bolts, and that's crazy. It does run on both cylinders though, so that's good. And get all this straightened back out. I'll sort that out here in just a second. I actually just saw this. So I'll get the flywheel back on, get all this cleaned up, and go ahead and pull it. I mean, y'all saw how I pulled it in part 1, 4 bolts. On the Husqvarna, it's a PTO clutch, and it won't take much, so we'll go ahead and take care of that. Honestly, I just want to get this knocked out before dark today, so I'll let y'all join me back up when I get all this back in. I'll try and fire this up on this carburetor right here, see how well it runs. If we need to swap the carbs real quick, we can do that as well. But let me go ahead and go to town because I'm ready to get this thing done. Well, we got the engine on. I don't have the cover back on it yet, but that's all right. Before I put the cover back on, I just want to make sure everything is good with the carburetor and all of that. I highly doubt that it is, but we're going to see. Well, hey, you never know. So let me go. I got to go grab the key from the other mower, and we will get this show on the road here in just a second. All right, key obtained. I am going to prime it with a little bit of carb spray because this battery is not the strongest. So filled it up with oil and fixed all the tins and covers and stuff. So let's see what this thing will do here. I don't have the choke hooked up. I have to get a choke, something for the choke, but I'll have to get the jump box on it. Let's see. I just used it. It's right there. Let's see. Alright, let's see. I'm probably going to have to swap the carbs on this thing if I were to guess. Oh, I don't even have the throttle hooked up yet. Let me hook that up. I'll do that really quickly here. I got tools everywhere, y'all. Sorry. Let's see. Sure I got this the right way. I do. Okay. Alright. I'm going to try to start mid-throttle here. See if that works. Alright. A little bit more throttle here. Sounds pretty decent. I've got to do next. I might reserve this for another day, because I'm kind of done with today. I wanted to hear that. That made my day right there. Let's see if it'll crank back. Oh, I don't know, the battery or the starter's bad, one of the two. No, the battery's just about done on this thing. I'll charge it up for the guy, but I'll tell him he probably needs one. Cool. So remainder of what I need to do is put the covers on, hood, PTO clutch, choke cable, and we'll be done. So I'll take that though. That's fantastic. So before I show you the final deal all cleaned up there on the Husqvarna, again, this Pull Pro, this thing will, I've got the deck for it, and everything looks pretty decent on it, except for kind of the drag link and the tie rod. But I can put since it's a 42-inch deck, I've got a bunch of single Briggs and Strattons single cylinder engines hanging around that I can just use and pop on here and be good. Have a little cheap 42-inch rider. Try to save the V-twins for like the bigger riders like the 48s. So, and it's really not that big of a deal to take them off. So let's go up there and I'll show y'all what the Husqvarna turned out to be. Finally done. This has been one of the most frustrating mowers that I've had in a long time. And there it is. Like I said, it turned out fairly decent. I just washed it because it was dirty and the engine itself was dirty. But y'all heard it run. It ran pretty good. Still running pretty good. There's just a minor pop in the carburetor, but I think we'll live with that. Oh, I didn't even tighten down the nut for the starter, which is kind of crazy. It still started, but I'll tighten that up. Wow. But got it all back on. I'll show you it running and cutting here in just a second. And put a little bit of ATF in the rear tires because they were leaking down after a couple of days, and especially the right rear. So that'll work out. I mean, it looks like it was originally supposed to go in here. I used the old engine cover and stuff because of the tins and the shrouds and whatnot. This one's a little bent, so, but got them all pretty much functioning like they should again. But all the shrouds and stuff, you have to take all the shrouds off and change the entire flywheel. I already had the flywheel off, but I just didn't feel like changing all that stuff out. If this was the only thing I had to do on this, I may have changed it out, but since I'd already gone and done the governor and then went through the saga with the drive pulley and stuff like that, I was just saving as much time as I could with this one at this point. I did put the choke cable on. I was originally going to put it down here on where they usually are, but I put it up here because of the length of the choke cable off of that Pull Pro was shorter than what would allow me to put it right there. So all said and done, we are done with this thing. I will, if it cranks now, I think, see the battery's also dying, so, because the battery's about 3.5 years old. sound like there's a little bit of junk in one of the cylinders there, but it does seem to, I mean, it's still popping just a little bit. Man, y'all have seen so much of this mower, y'all are probably done with it as much as I am. So I'm probably going to end this video here. I do appreciate y'all watching. Sorry it seems like I was frustrated for most of the previous video and this video, but this thing came in for a fuel issue, and we have replaced the governor, replaced the drive pulley. The governor wasn't bad, it's just the fact that it broke again, and then the drive pulley shouldn't have been as hard as it was. And then as soon as I do that, that's when the governor broke. And so I just told the guy, I said, I'm just going to put a different engine in it. Everything will be good. Still be at a decent price point for him. And so I think he'll be good. I mean, the thing starts right up. It just has that little pop and stumble to it. Something because this is still the carburetor that came on it from the Poland Pro. It may clear itself out over the course of a little bit of time as well. So you know, if you get woken up after being sitting for, I don't know how long I've had that mower and how long it's been sitting, probably 3 or 4 years, maybe even longer, you're gonna have to cough out a little bit as well. I'm actually surprised that it runs as good as it does with this carburetor on it. So worst case, I'll throw another carburetor on it, the one that I put off of another engine onto the engine that threw the governor out. But either way, or I may just let it ride like it is. I may cold start it tomorrow and see what it does. But I do appreciate y'all watching this small engine repair. Hopefully y'all enjoyed it more than I did. I tell you, I did not enjoy this one. I usually do enjoy working on stuff, but when they, you know, it's almost like a lemon, you know, one thing right after the other, after the other, after the other. Just, it's like, when is it going to stop? Well, I think it's finally stopped. The guy's got a good machine now. I think it'll work well for him. You know, I'm always here to help if they have any issues with it or whatever. I don't stick it to them or anything like that. So, thanks again, guys. If you're watching this around the time that it posts, it's going to be right around Christmas. So I will tell y'all Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. Hopefully y'all enjoy. I'll do an end of the year video as my last roundup video for 2024 as we get into 2025. I've almost got all the repairs done around here, so you'll hopefully see more riding mowers and a few more personal items that I'll be flipping here in the coming videos as we get ready for spring. I do appreciate it, guys. Thanks again, and I'll catch y'all on the next video.